Good morning, stars! It's your boy Z, aka the Lava Tyrant, and welcome back to my channel. The starters are the first major choice a player makes in a Pokémon playthrough that severely affects the experience of the game. A starter trio is a core building block of a region as it decides your first partner. Well, given I have recently begun work on a brand new region project full of fakemon based on Cookie Run Kingdom, I figured it's about time we dealt with the starters side of things. When it comes to the starters though, I found the age-old water, fire, grass trio to be quite restrictive. I've already worked on prior regions and even recently did a starter prediction video for Generation 10, and so the type triangle is something I wanted to ditch. Thus, I got to work on a no limits and no restrictions balanced starter trio based on some of the most iconic cookies of the Cookie Run franchise. So, grab yourself some cookies for starters as we jump in and discuss these starter cookies. We will first discuss the base trio and then work through each individual mon's evolutions. And well, who better to start this with than the starter based on the mascot of the entire franchise, Gingerbrave. As most of you guessed, the main starter trio is going to be based on the original cookie trio we follow throughout the main game of CRK. As for this guy, I made him a fighting type, and design-wise mainly took inspiration from honey badgers and lion cubs, given their correlation to bravery. And so, I present to you your first starter choice, Scubble. Scubbles are known to seek out fights. They have a tendency of being selfless and are known to defend others from attacks, even those they can't take. Scubble's shiny is meant to be similar to real honey badgers, but well, I hear you. Maybe Scubble's selfless bravery isn't quite your vibe, and well, in that case, there's always our second option. Crystalrol from Crystal, Strawberry, and Brawl. As is pretty obvious by now, this one is based on Strawberry Cookie. For this shy cookie, I took cues from real-world creatures that like to hide away, like pangolins and armadillos. It does get two very rabbit-like ears, which are there for silhouette purposes, and another reason I'll save for later. Regardless, here is Crystalrol. Crystalrols are very shy and hide away by digging holes and laying within them. They use various minerals from around their rocky habitats to strengthen their armored shells. The shiny is meant to reference one of the main costumes you can get for Strawberry Cookie in CRK, which is still the only costume that I use for her. But of course I hear you. Maybe even this isn't what you're looking for from a starter. Maybe you want something a bit more magical. And well, look no further than the final starter choice, that being Spellam, based of course on Wizard Cookie, the third main player among the main protagonists of CRK. For Wizard Cookie, I decided to go with a goat. Not because he is the goat per se, which of course he is, but mainly to fit in with the mythical inspirations for this guy that pair well with the final type combo, which I will reveal later on, so stick around. Till then though, it is mostly just a goat with a lot of Wizard Cookie's aspects fused with it. And well, with not much more left to say, here is Spellam. Spellams are known for being able to jump high and across long distances. The white fur on its body is also capable of generating static electricity. Well, those are the three base starters, and it's now your turn to choose. So let me know down below in the comments who you would pick based on these forms alone. And while you're down there, if you are enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hype the video. I have also recently begun commissions, so if you like what you're seeing and want your own concepts brought to life, send me an email on lavatyrant@gmail.com and join the Discord for more information on rates and also in general if you want to be a part of the community. Anyways, enough said, let's evolve these three. I hope you guys have your choices locked in, cause here we go. Starting with Scubble's evolution, Badginger. Now standing on two legs, I know, shoot me, the design starts bringing in new features like a beard and some darker hair. While this may be odd at first, it does help to lay the groundwork for the final evolution. The tail is now getting longer to go further down the lion route, and it's now really coming off as Gingerbrave's candy cane. With that said, here is Badginger. Badgingers are quick-footed and agile. They often come to the aid of anyone they consider a friend. The shiny continues to use the same honey badger colors as the previous evolution, and it will continue to use those colors in its shiny form even after it evolves one last time into Valiant, now taking on a far more powerful stance, really paralleling Incineroar at this point. If you can't tell, by the way, for this final evolution, the main design features actually come from a version of Gingerbrave that was very recently revealed for a yet-to-release game, Cookie Run Crumble, where he is instead called Oven Breaker Cookie. Given it seems to be a Gingerbrave from the future, it seemed fitting to use that design to inspire our final evolution. So, I present to you Valiant. Valiants are brave-hearted warriors. They use their heavy tails as powerful whips to stagger their enemies. The symbol of a Valiant is meant to represent bravery and strength, and was often used in historic insignias. Up next is our favorite shy guy, Strawberry Cookie. So, with enough training, Crystalrol evolves into Berserker, now gaining two big mace-like arm extensions designed similarly to the hammer Strawberry Cookie often carries around. Other than that though, this design does mostly have the guess bigger principle, but it does start moving further in the path of the mech design aspect, which will culminate in the final evolution. Till then, here is Berserker. Though still shy, Berserkers are capable of doing powerful hammering attacks against any Pokémon it is threatened by. Berserkers are often crafty and continue to strengthen their armors with tough minerals. Upon enough training and hard work, Berserker bulks up and evolves into its final form, Mecha Berry, going fully mecha just as promised. As for the inspiration, this too originates from Cookie Run Crumble, specifically Ready Berry Cookie, who seems to be an alternate variant of Strawberry Cookie. This variant has a whole mech suit, and it looked way too cool for me to just ignore when making this final evolution. And so, here is Mecha Berry. Upon collecting enough resources, this Pokemon crafts a powerful suit of armor and evolves into Mecha Berry. Mecha Berry's punches hit like wrecking balls, and their protective shell keeps even the sharpest claws from scratching it. The shiny throughout, of course, maintains that fishy skin's color scheme. That's quite the mouthful, but regardless, I for one ended up being really proud of this one, especially with the unapologetic change of color scheme in the final evolution. But with that said, now it's time to delve into our final starter line, where Spellam finally evolves into Sorcegress. Now the design implements a second layer of fur under the scarf to drive home the wizard robes. Furthermore, and even more obviously, the scarf has grown into wings, furthering towards the electric flying type that I originally planned for this line. Wizard Cookie doesn't really have a crumble variant, at least yet, and so I went with a more mythical inspiration, which I will explain further in a bit. Till then, here is Sorcegress. Their tendency to jump really high has caused Sorcegress to grow wing-like appendages to help them glide. They have lightning-fast agility and are very steadfast. The shiny is quite festive, wouldn't you say? It does bring in those colors once again for costume reference. At this point, the Crispia region's shiny charm might as well be a rainbow cube. But of course, it all comes together in the final evolution, where Sorcegress evolves once again and one last time into Eldrisnir. And that name may sound odd, but it's referencing Tangrisnir, which I may be spelling wrong, but it is one of the two goats that run Thor's chariot. That's right, the type combo of electric flying, the general affinity of Wizard Cookie and electricity, and also the general origin of many magical concepts being tied to Nordic history. The pipeline, for me at least, was very clear. Now with bigger wings and a darker color scheme to reference thunderous clouds, I present Eldrisnir. Eldrisnir soar through the skies and can rain down a barrage of electrifying attacks from above. They were once used as steeds for aerial travel. Despite their differences, these three are starter lines and so do have a unifying theme, which is Dungeons & Dragons classes, similar to the JRPG classes theme from Generation 6, but this time being comprised of Scubble the Fighter, Crystalrol the Artificer, and Spellam the Wizard or Sorcerer, whichever one Fennekin isn't. But well, with that said, that is all of them. All three starters for the Cookie Run Kingdom region. I hope you like this entry, and if this is your first time, you've caught the series at its infancy, so while it's still a work in progress, you definitely have bragging rights for being an early bird, cause if you made it this far, I am certain those will be right up your alley as well. I also have various other projects, all of which are linked in the description, so if you feel interested, make sure to check those out as well. But with that said, that's all for this one. Like and subscribe if you haven't, join the Discord for all the juicy details on the community, commissions, and a third thing that starts with the letter C, and well, until next time, peace.